Fear is natural, just as any other emotion is. But to be ruled by it is an act of futility, and that is why we must push our fears aside and work to a better future. This is what this new ship represents, taking all of our fears and casting it out to the waters. Blackwater will be a place where you can live free from fear and truly start life anew. Now, on this new ship, you can find work, you can find love, and you can start a family. We still have many enemies, those who wish to see us all dead, and the good that we do thrown into the fire. But from your good work here, the fleet will become stronger, and our enemies will fall. So with a pride, I hereby officially announce our first city ship, the Blackwater. Thorn Roseland's christening of the city ship Blackwater. Year 10 of the new era. My eyes opened, slowly adjusting to the light. Well, my left eye was covered up, feeling sore, and it would throb now and then. Trying to get up, my body refused to, even when I put the effort in. I was warm, comfortable, but ached all over. My stomach was rumbling with hunger, and I really needed to pee, so I had to get up. That's when I felt something on me, a warm something that pressed down on my stomach. After my eye could finally focus on the world around me, I took a look down to find Black Spot using my belly as a pillow. Taking the time to look about, the room I was in was small and full of boxes. We happened to be on some old cushions, which were very comfortable. The rest of the room was a dull gray, with one light above us that flickered now and then. Needing to get up, I scooted myself out from under him. This did not end as well as I hoped, as he started to cuddle me around the flank. I don't have time for cuddles, Black Spot. I need to pee. This, don't go, he mumbled. Fuck. This is how we miss chapel. He wants to sleep cuddle, I let him, and we both go hungry for the day. If you don't let go, I'm just going to have to pee on you. And now he's holding on tighter. Come on! We have to go to chapel or we don't get to eat. This is so adorable, I could puke. Looking in the direction of the voice, I could see Carving Doll looking down at us. Reaching down, she bent onto the back of my vest and pulled me up. Black Spot held onto me a little longer before I slid out of his hold. Flicking me back down, Carving Doll walked out of the room. Come on, Victoria wants to see you. After stretching, I trotted off after Carving Doll. Can I go pee on the way? I need to go really bad. I had arrived at the fermentation room after what felt like an hour. The pain in my eye had gone away, but I managed to bump or trip on half the junk in the hallway. The fermenting was where the rotten food was taken to make alcohol. Most of it went into the water to make grog for every pony to drink. And true to its name, it smelled like rotten alcohol. Victoria stood in a box, surrounded by a lot of other ponies. Seeing me, Victoria smiled. Good. Now that every pony is here, we can finally get down to business. She loudly tapped on the box, getting the attention of a few distracted ponies. First off, most of our runners are gone. A fucking rat sold them out. And the cunt Black Powder Blast has seen to it that they're all dead. Except for one of them. I could see a few other ponies give me glances before refocusing on Victoria. With the runners gone, we lose our contacts, and in turn the ability to bribe for our continued safety. That brings us to the reason I have gathered you all here like this. We're changing our tactics. The crowd began to murmur and shift about. It was an uneasy atmosphere, so much so I could feel it. But that could also be the alcohol. As things are, we can no longer appeal to the ponies under Black Powder to keep from hunting us down. So I say it's time. Time we kill Black Powder Blast. The crowd steeled down for a moment, before one pony gave out a cheer, which was followed by the rest. "Let's put her head on a spike! Hang the cunt! Cut her up and feed her to her own loyalists!" They wanted blood, and I had to admit so did I. The cunt stabbed me and threw me into the water, and I was still upset about that. Luckily for us, we've been preparing for something like this. So from me to all of you, I give gifts. Happy, hearts-warming Eve, every pony. On Victoria's command, Puppet String rolled out a large box into the crowd of ponies. Pulled out from the box was what looked like uniforms of the sailor ponies that were made in manufacturing. They were more heavy on the green than the red. The armor on the uniforms also looked lighter, and under the flag of the fleet was another flag that depicted a red and green eye, just like how Victoria's was in medical. Puppet Strings pulled out another box, and inside were pistols, combat knives. It was also enough for all the ponies here, of which they all gleefully armed themselves. Now, every pony, don't just go running off thinking you can just fight your way to the captain, or I will just have to end you right here. I have a plan of attack for you all to follow, and this plan will not work unless every pony plays their part. Victoria looked over at me. On that note, come here, Star Charter. You have the most important role. A lot of eyes were on me, all of them with the same kind eyes as Victoria. An unnerving green in either their left or right eye. It also meant that many of them had mismatched eye colors. Taking a deep breath, I walked over to Victoria, but Puppet String stopped me along the way. Dearie, let me take that off you first. Let Victoria see your pretty eye. With her magic, Puppet removed the bloody bandages from my head, pulling out a small mirror shard. I got a good look from why my eye was covered. It was, well, greener, and on a closer look it seemed to shift in green hue. My eyelid was covered in dried blood that flaked off after rubbing my eye a few times. Victoria chuckled. Welcome to the Corps Brigade, Star Charter. Now first off, let's get you geared up. They had a uniform ready for me. Its smaller size meant the armored plates covered me far better than their others. I didn't get the same weapons as the others. In place of the pistol, I had 3 pipe bombs. As for the combat knife, I was instead given Black Powder's cutlass, Puppet Strings renaming it to the Blackwater cutlass. I even got a cool sheath to put the cutlass in. Victoria rubbed me on the head. When we head out, I want you to stick with me. Black Powder failed to kill you, so you'll be the perfect for sending a message that I'm coming after her. I'll explain the rest later. With that, she trotted back over to the box, stepped on it to get every pony's attention. Every pony, we'll be splitting up into 3 teams for this. I'll be leading the red team, Puppet Strings in charge of the blue team, and Carving Doll will lead the yellow team. Now look at your armor. Each one should have a bandana on the right leg signifying the team you'll be on. I had a red bandana. Yay. Now, follow them. The longer it takes for us to start this fight, the harder it's going to get to win. We hit them hard, fast, and show no mercy. Every pony cheered, including me. When up the shrouds the sailor goes, and ventures on the yard, the land's pony, who knows better not, believe his lot is hard. Bold Jack, with smiles, each danger meets, weigh anchor, heaves the log, trims all the sails, belays his sheets, and drinks his can of grog. If to engage they give the word, to quarters he'll repair, now winding the dismal flood, now quivering in the air. When waves against the rock rend and roar, you'll never hear him repine, though he's on frozen north's icy shore, or burning beneath the line. When sailing orders to arrive, bold Jack he does take leave. My dearest sweet Pole, he cries, I pray now, do not grieve. Thy Jack will take his daily can of grog and drink to thee, in hopes that thou will never forget thy sailor who's at sea. But should thou false or fickle prove to Jack who loves thee dear, no more upon thy native shore can I with joy appear, but restless as the briny main, must heartless heave the log, shall trim the sails and try to drown my sorrows in cans of grog. Along our way to where we were told to begin the attack, Victoria explained to me why we had the eye, and what it did. As it turned out, it was part of some sort of magical ritual from before the end of the Great War. It was meant to give a pony a power called the Stare, a power that could make a full-grown dragon quiver in fear. But the ritual often killed the ponies it was used on, so they stopped doing it. But Victoria found it, and found out that it only killed off the weak. The power of the Stare was only for the strong, and like her, I was strong enough to have it. Our waiting place was at the edge of Cargo Town, with a straight path to the security tower. I could see the guards patrolling about, though most were in their tower. "Star Charter?" I turned to Victoria, who had a serious look on her face. "It's time for you to play your role. We need you to lure the guards from their tower. If we only stir up trouble here in Cargo Town, they'll just take sniping positions. The only way to get them to come out, and out in force, is to hit them, and hit them hard." She tapped one of the pipe bombs. "We need you to get into the security tower, and set the bombs in places where they gather. After that, run the whole town. Carving Doll will be waiting for you there." I nodded. How I was to do this, I didn't know, but Victoria had this look about her, like she knew I could do it. "How do I get in?" She smiled. "I still have a few contacts. One of them's a guard who will be waiting at the east side of the tower. She'll let you inside. After that, just place the bombs wherever it'll hurt, and get out of there." She pulled out a trigger from her pocket. "I'll detonate it from here." Sounded simple enough. I get in, plant bombs, get out, and run to Hull Town. As long as I'm careful, nothing should go wrong. I was provided with another cloak. This one was a normal cloak, made to simply keep my uniform and weapons hidden, so it was nice and light. Like Victoria had said, there was a mare guard standing in front of the eastern entrance of the security tower. She looked nervous, shifting her head from side to side, more often than was normal. When her eyes locked onto me, she sighed, and without a word opened the door wide enough for me to quickly run into. The inside was far clearer than I'd ever seen the rest of the city, and not as nice as the main tower. So I sneaked from one room to the next. It became apparent that the security ponies lived far better lives than the rest of the city, yet still acted like the most miserable assholes. It only motivated me more to blow the fuck out of them. I felt like I was getting closer to a good spot, but as I rounded a corner, I ran into another pony. "Fucking kid." "Oh, looky here. The little fibbers be finally here to pay up." It was the guard from the orchard. Before I could run away, he had already thrown his weight upon me and held me down. "Don't think the second mate's gonna be interfering this time. Oh no, he's swinging it in the wind starboard now." He slammed me against the wall, and everything went fuzzy for a moment. "I wonder what the captain will give me for turning in a little spy. But first I want me payment." I cried out in pain, and the guard grabbed me by the mane, dragging me down the hall. The armor only protected me from every bump and scrape from the floor, but not my head, as it was beginning to pound with pain. And almost as soon as it had begun, I was thrown into a room, hitting another wall with a thud. "You know what? I think I should collect interest as well here." Using what strength I had, I looked up at the guard, and saw him undo his armor. I was immediately reminded of the two stallions from last night, except there was only one stallion, with his thing pointed at me. "Don't worry. I'll make you a proper mare, not like those cunts who run this city. A good, proper whore." He slowly walked up towards me. I tried to pull my cutlass, but the cloak was in the way. I could try to run for the door, but when I tried to get up, I got dizzy. So I used that stare thing. The guard stopped, but didn't look like he was fazed by my glare, just confused. "The fuck be wrong with your eye?" "No matter. Now, be you going to take off that stupid outfit, or will I just have to..." The guard choked, then slowly lifted into the air, his back bending backwards and spasmed. With a sickening crack, the guard's spine broke, and he was slammed into the ground. Bile and blood shot out of his mouth with force. His face looked in a look of terror. From their side of the room, Prism Paint came into view. Her own face, that of rage. You saved me? Again? Her glare turned on me. You stupid filly! Why? Why would you come here? After what they tried to do to you? You should have known not to be here. I think I know how that sister felt. Prism Paint lifted me with her magic. Let us leave this place. They let such vile ponies work here, then you should leave this place. Crossing my hooves, I raspberried her. Go where? Hull Town? If the captain knows I'm alive, then I'm a dead mare for trotting. I was dropped onto her back. She was warm, a little bit fluffy. Then we leave the ship. I'm sure Equestria has a safe place for you to live. Wait, what? Was she serious? If I left now, Victoria's plan was going to fall apart. I couldn't do that to her. Jumping off Prism Paint's back, I looked at her in the eyes. I can't go. Not until I finish my job here. I threw off the cloak. The gang's taking over the city, and I'm important to that plan. Why can't this Victoria do this for herself? Or send another pony? Any pony but a foal. Were we having this conversation? Right now? Next to a dead body? Between how I hurt all over and the hunger pain in my stomach, Prism Paint had moved from wondrous to really aggravating. It's because I'm important. That's about all there is to it. You are so important that this Victoria sends you off to get raped? And you think it's a good thing? Prism's wings twitched. Are you no better than a raider? I laughed. Shows what you know. Only the weak would complain about things such as this. But I'm strong. So get out of my way, and let me blow these fuckers to water below. I suddenly found myself being lifted by Prism's weight, and her magic. You will do no such thing, young lady. It's obvious that this Victoria has a bad influence on you, and if I don't remove you from this environment, she's going to get you killed. Waving my front legs, I found it a waste of energy, as I was held in Prism's magic. Let me go. I have to help Victoria kill the captain. Prove to every pony that I'm strong. You are a fool. You have nothing to prove. I have everything to prove. I dropped to the floor as Prism gasped, and everything from my left eye was red. Checking the eye with my hoof, I saw that I was bleeding from it. The pain from being thrown around had faded significantly, but was replaced with a more intense hunger. My stomach almost screamed for me to feed it. What happened to you? That magic, it's wrong. She walked up to me, wings stretched out, but I didn't look at her. The dead guard felt more interesting, and made my stomach cry out for food to eat. Star Charter, look at me. I didn't. Star, look at me and tell me what's wrong. I felt Prism's magic grab hold of me again, this time forcing me to look at her. My teeth were chattering and I couldn't stop shaking. Drool sloshed out of my mouth. I'm hungry. I couldn't keep my eyes from drifting to the guard. I didn't know why, but looking at him only made me feel hungrier. Very hungry. She quickly looked at the body and back at me. Her face had lost all the rage from before, and didn't have the shock and fear she had just a moment ago. Her face looked scared. No, worried. And I don't know why, but it made me feel sad. Oh, my poor girl. What did they do to you? I was placed back onto her back. Just hold on. I'll get you something to eat. Placed on her back again, we both became invisible, and Prism Paint ran off down the hall. The only thing that seemed louder than the hoof steps was my stomach. Footnote. Quest perk added. Corrupt regeneration. Whenever heavily wounded, your body will begin to regenerate. The energy from regeneration is taken from your hunger, and you will suffer double the effects from starvation. If starvation hits critical, a frenzied state will reach until your hunger is reduced.